Britain's incompetent government has once more lost control of the Chinese coronavirus pandemic that is now at the very beginnings of a second wave that looks set to be about half as severe as that of March and April's first wave.
The virus has started to spread again in an exponential way. Infections are up, hospital admissions are climbing. We risk many more deaths, many more families losing loved ones before their time. We will enforce those rules with tougher penalties and fines of up to £10,000. We will put more police out on the streets and use the army to backfill if necessary. If people don't follow the rules we've set out, then we must reserve the right to go further. We must take action now, because a stitch in time saves 9.
UK coronavirus hospital admissions and deaths since testing positive in 28 days. As you can see by the graph, the UK is nowhere near the magnitude of the first wave and illustrates the extent of the lack of testing during the first wave, as currently some 1,500 people are hospitalised compared to 20,000 at the peak. However, unfortunately, the second peak could end up being just as high in the number of patients hospitalised as the first wave, due to the reason that many people in hospital were dying. So there was a fast turnover in patients, whereas during the second wave, a lower death rate will mean the beds being clogged up by more patients. And yes, I've either got the flu or COVID. Day 4. So do allow some leeway with regards to this video. Anyway, COVID deaths 28 days since testing positive. The only way to reliably measure the extent of the pandemic during the first wave was in the number of deaths, which illustrated the extent to which the government had lost control, as the number of daily deaths soared to a peak of 1,224 on the 22nd of April. The current number of daily deaths at 37 may seem mild in comparison, but so it seemed mid-March when 14 died on the 15th of March. However, the trend trajectory to that point warned of a catastrophe, which is precisely where we stand today, i.e. deaths per day 2 weeks ago were just 8 per day, rising to 37 today, which means the UK should brace itself for a huge increase in the death rate to around 1/3 of the peak of the pandemic, which 4 weeks from now could easily exceed 400 per day on a best case scenario. Worst case could reach 600 per day, or about half the April peak. So we are in the calm before the storm stage, let's hope. Well, they are morons. They probably aren't learnt any lessons. They got these advisors advising garbage, feathering their nests, promoting themselves, promotionists on TV. Oh, look at me, I'm witty, I'm so witty. Oh yeah, I'm say this, say that, garbage. Criminals. UK excess deaths. As the pandemic has gone on, the government has chosen to change the methodology used to measure the number of deaths, where the current method is to measure those who die within 28 days following a positive test for Covid-19 that currently totals 41,862 deaths. However, it is clear that the official current method results in a substantially lower death toll number than preceding method, which was by means of death certificates listing Covid-19, where the number jumps by 15,000 to 56,956. Though even this method underreports the true magnitude of the COVID death toll when one looks at the ONS weekly figures in terms of excess deaths above the seasonal average of how many deaths one would normally expect during the course of the year, which sees Britain's death jump to nearly 65,000. Therefore, where deaths are concerned, the most reliable metric is the ONS weekly statistics in excess deaths. And this video is an excerpt from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed trend forecast for the stock market into December 2020, the whole of which is first being made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecast, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And also remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for new videos as we count down to entering Britain's second wave, which we already have done. Go.
Shala's off to Royal Hallamshire Hospital for X-ray and blood test. Was it 7th?
Yeah.
7th of July?
Yeah.
So if you get infected, it's from Royal Hallamshire. Here it is. Royal Hallamshire. Gone good 5 months without getting infected. 4 or 5 months. So let's see what happens there.
You get blood test done. Why? What? Why they give you appointment for $4 then? They give you appointment for when it's closed. What about X-ray? Did you have X-ray done? So when you went to reception, what happened? When you went to the reception desk, 4:20 p.m., what did they say? Did you say blood test? So why do you tell them blood test?
With X-ray department, so I thought it's X-ray book for 4:20, so you go there first, innit?
You book for it and then they send you for blood test.
They didn't say, okay, yeah, you can go back. And I said, Dr. Sally, you go to I said, okay, go stay.
They knew it'd be closed because they worked there.
The doctor didn't know. They booked the X-ray, they didn't know he
Did you tell them you got a blood test? Or when did you tell the doctor you had a blood test?
When I finished my X-ray, I said, I need to go for the blood test.
When you went first, why didn't you say you got X-ray and blood test?
Did I know it's going to happen?
When you went there...
When I asked the doctor, I'm going for X-ray, I said, there is a blood test. They say, oh, they'll send you for blood. Go for X-ray and then they'll send you for blood test.
They work there, they know it closes at 4:30.
Doctor did.
The appointment was 4:20 for X-ray and blood test. And 4:30 they closed. So you went for X-ray first. How long did the X-ray take? So what did X-ray show? What?
Huh?
What did X-ray show?
Wait. Mom.
Well, they don't tell you the results.
There's some TV and then you're doing the same.
Why didn't they just tell you? What do you mean they just look at it? So now you have to call GP up. They're supposed to tell you. You saw a doctor in it. You're supposed to look at the X-ray. You're supposed to look at the X-ray and tell you if anything's wrong. They didn't do that. They just took X-ray and what they said.
no blood test, and they had X-ray and they didn't tell you what it is. NHS is still useless. But a lot of people are empty. So even when it's empty, they're useless. What's NHS? Useless when full, useless when empty.
And this video is an excerpt from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed trend forecast for the stock market into December 2020, the whole of which is first being made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecast, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And also remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for new videos as we count down to entering Britain's second wave, which we already have done.